How's Boomer?
Boomer's great. Boomer is my golden retriever rescue dog, and he's fantastic. We had a little bit of a time this week that I went to a trainer with him, trying to work on some of his rescue issues. But he's just a doll. I mean, what a great. The rescue dogs are awesome. I'm a volunteer at the Humane Society as well, and he's just been a wonderful gift. My other beloved golden retriever passed away during the campaign in April, and we brought Boomer into our lives in May, so what a blessing.
Well, our lab got to be almost 13, passed in 2008, and the kids showed up, and you said, all right, what's the right time? Well, a couple of months ago, we found good old Rex on the highway. And he is rescued literally, and he's running the roost now. We wanted a female, older, big, yellow purebred. We got a male puppy, black. We wanted yellow lab or a golden, black and little and, wild as can be. So 0 for 5, and he's wonderful. So.
Oh, that's great. So they are such a gift. They keep us young, that's for sure. And I'll tell you, during the campaign, I was up with Boomer every morning out running. It was just... it was my sanity during the campaign for sure. It kept me fit. It kept me sane. Worked out my frustrations before the day started, and just wonderful gifts they are.
All right. Well, you give Boomer a high paw from Rex. And listen, another animal I know you love is the Wildcat, Arizona Wildcats to be specific. Tough ending, but a good year for Arizona football. And as a Bears fan, I'm a big Lance Briggs guy. And, of course, my Bulls have had some great Wildcats like Steve Kerr and Judd Bushler. So, hey, listen, the Ducks are tough. Good year for Arizona.
Yeah. I'm so proud of them. They had such a fantastic year. Last night was very difficult to watch. But, man, just look at a week ago, though, how they performed against ASU. And, just an incredible team, great potential. Rich Rodriguez has done a wonderful job with them. And I look forward to a strong bowl game and then, continuing to grow that team. Just really proud of how they did this year.
Well, we are rooting for you, Colonel, in this congressional endeavor. But more importantly, I just want to say my grandfather was Air Force. Sarah Palin's cousin, J.D. Morgan, a great friend of this show, also Air Force. Thank you so much for your service to our exceptional country.
Awesome. Well, it's been an honor and a pleasure to serve. The oath of office of a member of Congress is the same exact oath of office as a military officer. So it was an honor to serve for 26 years in uniform. Be taking that oath again January 6th, as long as we sustain this victory here, and I just consider it my continued service in civilian clothes. But there's still a fight going on out there, and I think we need people with the warrior spirit and a heart of service, quite frankly, to do what's best for the country and what's best for their community with the mindset that we have as military officers. So I think I will bring that to Congress, and I look forward to serving with others to move our country in the right direction.
All right, Colonel Martha McSally, thanks so much for being here, and I hope next time we talk we could also call you Representative McSally.
Awesome, Kevin. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
That website, once again, is McSallyForCongress.com, McSally, F-O-R, Congress.com. Governor Palin rallied hard for Bill Cassidy in recent weeks, and the congressman pulled it off, beating Mary Landrieu in the U.S. Senate race in Louisiana. Cassidy's win in Louisiana's Saturday runoff pushes the Republicans' new Senate majority to 54 seats in January and costs Democrats their last Senate seat in the Deep South. Palin said, quote, "The enthusiasm for fresh leadership was in the air recently when I joined Colonel Rob Maness and the Duck Commander, Phil Robertson, as they rallied for victory by uniting Louisianans in support of Dr. Cassidy." Here's a lesson for the national GOP leadership. Take a page out of the Maness-Cassidy primary playbook. After a very competitive primary battle, the two good candidates quickly settled differences over a bowl of gumbo and are now working hard together to defeat the liberal incumbent who votes with Barack Obama 97% of the time. These good men put patriotism over politics. Now it's up to you, Louisiana. Show the country how it's done with votes for Cassidy, unquote. And Louisiana did just that, electing Cassidy. Palin also endorsed two U.S. House candidates in Louisiana, and they won, Ralph Abraham and Garrett Graves. Congratulations to both. A successful, big election night in Louisiana. Let's see what the GOP can do with their newfound control. To see any of the governor's posts in their entirety, visit Sarah Palin's Facebook page. Follow her on Twitter at Sarah Palin USA and visit sarahpalinchannel.com.
It's time for Commonwealth Common Sense with Susan Stimson and Kevin Scholla.
Hello, Susan. How are you?
Kevin, I'm doing great, and I hope that you had a great week.
I did. Thank you very much. Same to you. And I guess the country's doing a little bit better, or will be at least once we start getting some folks back into the Senate in January. Another win by another Palin-backed candidate, this time in Louisiana.
So the wave continues. Mary Landrieu has gone down, and we now have 54 Republican senators in the United States Senate. We control the Congress at one of the largest numbers of majority that we've had. And now it is up to the Republicans to take this mantle and to lead with it on the Republican principles.
Yeah, and you got to love what Governor Palin said about this, too, right? She made a great point about the fact that you look at our friend Rob Maness, who was fighting hard here in the three-way primary, but when it was all over, he got in there and, he backed Bill Cassidy. And look at what it does when they could get together and, do what the Democrats have done so many times. Hillary and Obama, that relationship icy at best, but how they teamed together after he won the primary back in 2008. And you don't see that a lot from Republicans, and a lot of times it's on principle, and I certainly agree with that. But if you have two good candidates running in primaries, then these things could happen.
I think that we're seeing this more and more, and I know that it's definitely happening here in Virginia, that it's okay to have challenges within our party, and then once we have the nominee, then to gather behind the nominee and to work hard. But I think that the challenges that happen within the party are perfectly fine, and I do see the Republicans, they're definitely coming together on the issues. The problem seems to be once Republicans have the power and are in the leadership positions, do they actually lead on it? So I'm hopeful, as we talked about before, that now that they have this new majority, that they are going to take it and they're going to lead. But clearly the Democrats are struggling right now to find their way. They know that they are under a huge wave of discontent and frustration with the policies of President Barack Obama, and they still have another 2 years where they're going to have to, try to function and govern under that disappointment that Americans have right now.
Well, and that's the thing, conservative candidates and common sense candidates have usually been able to come around and help the party nominee. It's these establishment types that always leave you hanging when the conservative wins fair and square. I mean, we've seen that so many times, right? Brett Schundler in the gubernatorial race in New Jersey a few years back, Christine O'Donnell, probably one of the biggest ones where it was really left hung to dry by the establishment after they win a primary fair and square. And what we saw here in Louisiana, Rob Maness saying, hey, listen, my country's more important than any kind of ego or any kind of nonsense. He got behind Bill Cassidy. And, hey, listen, let's congratulate Louisiana as well on the congressional level. Two more Palin-backed candidates win Congress races, House races, Garrett Graves and Ralph Abraham. So good job in Duck Dynasty country.
Yep, that's right. And it just so happens that Bobby Jindal is here in Virginia tonight. He was giving the speech at the gala for the Republican Party Advance, and so he was quite pleased to announce that Mary Landrieu is no longer the senator in Louisiana. But I agree, there's a sweep, from Texas all the way up. Unfortunately, Virginia, we have two Democrat U.S. senators, but the wave almost took out the popular incumbent of Mark Warner, and I'm hopeful for the next round of elections here in Virginia as well that they'll continue to be the sweep.
And Jindal, of course, possibly vetting Susan Stimson in case he needs you as a running mate in 2016.
Yeah,
right?
I'm so sure, but who would want to jump into that presidential race? I think there's a lot to be worked out. Bobby Jindal is definitely going to be a strong candidate for that, though.
Sounds good, Susan. Well, listen, a wonderful week with more victories for the Republican Party, but you hit it on the head, as did Sarah Palin a couple weeks ago. Okay, you got the ball. Now what are you going to do with it, right?
Exactly. So it's exciting news for Republicans, and now we just need to all stay very engaged so that we can encourage these Republicans who've just won office to go ahead and follow through on those principles.
Susan Stimson, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Susan Stimson in Virginia. More Commonwealth Common Sense next week. Now our weekly commentary, Steel Resolve. Here's Sarah Steelman.
Thanks, Kevin. Despite the civil discord this week, there was good economic news. The jobs report was better than predicted. This past Friday, the Labor Department reported that employers added 321,000 jobs in November. Economists had predicted a much smaller number. The jobless rate itself remained at 5.8%. But more importantly, the improving job market is pushing up average hourly earnings for workers. Wages have been stagnant for many months. Now it looks as though the economy is finally starting to pick up steam. The other good news that will help to keep the economic engine running is the drop in oil prices. This is a huge boon for consumers who will now have more money in their pockets to spend. In economic terms, this will increase aggregate demand, which increases more productivity, more jobs, and a higher GDP. However, the bad news is that the labor participation rate remains extremely low. That is, those workers who have left the job market and are no longer looking for jobs have pretty much given up. Overall, the economy is moving forward and in the right direction. If the new Republican Congress will actually tackle tax reform, the economy could really take off. But if past behavior is a predictor of future behavior, then don't hold your breath. We could be waiting a long time. This is Sarah Steelman from Mama Grizzly Radio.
Tune in again next week for another segment of Steel Resolve right here on the Palin Update. The Palin Update, including Commonwealth Common Sense and Steel Resolve, is on demand and available for download, so just head to mamagrizzlyradio.com, pick the show you want to hear, and you can listen anywhere, anytime. Well, that'll just about do it for this edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio. Visit mamagrizzlyradio.com for continuing coverage of Governor Palin. Also, like Mama Grizzly Radio on Facebook, and follow along on Twitter at Mama Grizz Radio, at Kevin Scholla, at Susan B. Stimpson, at Sarah_Steelman, and at 3DSTS. And I'm doing some writing for Breitbart News. Go to Breitbart.com and search Kevin Scholla. I want to thank Sarah Steelman, Susan Stimpson, and everyone here at Mama Grizzly Radio. Thanks to Martha McSally, and thank you for listening today. A special thanks to our sponsor, 3D Security and Training Academy. Visit 3DSTA.com. Please be sure to join us again next time for another edition of the Palin Update on Mama Grizzly Radio.